Very hot to hold. And that's mainly due to the connection. I've got it marked up at 120 psi, but at the moment I'm hovering around 90. And that's due to the fact I've got a leak. Yeah, I can't get it any higher than that at the moment, due to dodgy connection. I mean, look at the steam coming off that sucker, and the fact that this is leaking like crazy. So it will work. That's not that hot either. There you go. So we know it will do something. Just exactly what at the moment is a little bit vague. Well, I've just got back from the scrappers. So we've got a cab, hand crank pull latch, which is going to be my new choke. It's got a stainless steel rod that lasts forever. Got a very powerful fuse with chunky wire, more chunky wire. That's the compressor. We've got 2 pieces of flexi tube. I'm thinking that might not be big enough, I don't know yet. Some angle iron to make a metal folder. Various pieces of hose. Got that piece, that's polyurethane. I'm going to need that for the filler. So I either cut that bit off or I cut the bit. We'll figure that out later. Then we've got some various lengths of random hose, because we've got that bottom tube to sort out. There's some more tucked in here somewhere. There you go, some more there. And a compressor tank. A very handy little compressor tank that comes with its own legs. So we are pretty much sorted. Just got to get a blow off valve for that so I don't overinflate. And I've got to get another fitting for a smaller tube, which will go somewhere. That's for the pre-load, that one. If you want to run it from a compressor tank in the house. I don't even know what half this stuff is that's on it, but yep, that's what we brought back. So, my parcels came today. Heat shrink is in, so I can now heat shrink up all of those hoses, and there's a one-way valve tucked away in there as well for the water system. So tomorrow, not today, tomorrow we are going to get those hoses sorted out on the back. We'll get those hoses sorted out once and for all as well. I can't wait. I need a week where there's no rain, because I need to get that welded and I need to get that one welded. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change that hose because that's just a plain rubber one, and I was advised to put a polyurethane one on that. And then we're going to make up a metal stainless plate to go around that, but for that to happen I need some kind of steel bender, sheet metal bender, so I can make up a protector for that. But it's not just for that, it's just to stop people from putting knives into a bit of luck. I mean, probably still could get to it, to be honest, but you never know. We also got some black sealant as well, so we can get that window fitted. And what I also want to do is take the door off again before I glue that. I'm going to get some brown paint and I'm going to put some camo splatters over it. So I'm going to brown that area there, maybe another one there and another one around there somewhere. We're going full on camo. Kind of made a mind up on that now, so we'll keep with that green because I love that colour, but we are going to put brown camo on that. We're going to go all out military with it. We'll keep all the rock sliders black like we spoke, wheel arches black, even that strip in the middle will stay black, the bonnet will be black, but the rest of it is going military. Oh wow, what a fool. I was just sitting here thinking I need to get that switch system sorted out for the fans. I was looking at that pipe that I put in and it's been bugging me since I put it in. You know, thinking to myself, it ain't right. It's just something about it is not right. And it suddenly just dawned on me, and I think I'm right in saying this now. The heater matrix pipe on this engine, on this manifold, there is only one pipe that comes out of the water pump. It goes straight through, goes out the back, goes into the matrix, then the matrix comes back on itself, and I think it's meant to go into that one, because what you're doing potentially is pumping cold water back out, so it goes there. This hose has to go down the bottom, so that one I'll put in here does not need a one-way valve. I think that answers that question, doesn't it? Right, well, we need a fan switch. All the fan switches I can find are large threaded diameters. There's nowhere on here whatsoever where one of those can go on, so I've either got to buy a piece here for that switch. I have one in the house, but its diameter is too small. The wrong bloody heat shrink, didn't they? Well, I had to get a bit inventive, so I had to stretch the hose. This heat shrink wouldn't go on. There you go. It's like a wrapped sausage. There we go. Peace of mind. That's all that is. So it's protected beyond protected. I can't get it any more than that, and that will slide in there in a little while, and I will put Jubilee clip, one there and one there. That should take the impact of stones, power washing and everything else totally over the top. Better to be safe than sorry. Time for a coffee.
2 hours later.
That definitely needs a clip to hold that hose in position. But yeah, so there you go. There's the first one. Could do with a clip there and a clip there, or one just straight in the middle. Probably one in the middle actually will be enough. So we've got two chances of that getting off on each side, or 2 points of holding up. That one, and that one, as you can fully see. It's heat shrinked, so that should take a lot of pressure and a lot of power washing. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I do think it needs clipping in the middle though. and I think I might have a clip to do that with. It'll have to be a nut and bolt because it's going through thin tin. Right there you go. It's loose. Not a lot I can do about it. Not a lot I'm going to do about it. As far as I'm concerned, that job's good, and we can now move on to the rear. So I've got to take out that big old sheet of checker, push that door open, and get those fuel lines sorted out. Then we've got to readdress that one. Now I've got some hoses, I can do that properly, and then we'll do the engine bay hoses, and then we'll build our metal bender and get some stainless steel bent around that area there, because really it is quite bloody untidy, isn't it? Doesn't help with all that scabby stuff from the stuff that I've cut off, which no longer needs to be on there. So I've just got some plates to make at the back, and oh, and I've got a blank to put in over that, but I think we can get away with rubber hose, real thin stuff, fold it over, put a bit of heat shrink over the top, and then cable clip it so it's tight. I might use that as my fuel in if I go with an auxiliary tank somewhere. There is room for one. Yeah, I'm pleased with that, actually, as it happens. Yeah. Not so sure about these though. They look like they're bowing in. Bit of weight is now on there, and it's compressing them down a bit. That one ain't so bad, but that one's definitely suffering with it, but hey ho. Okay, I'm not happy. These Jubilee clips are crap. They come from Toolstation, and my advice to you is don't buy them for jobs like this. They just won't tighten up. They just jump. The worm drive just jumps off the thread because they're so poorly put together. So now I've shot off to Asda. She's going to screw fix instead, and she's going to get me a different brand and see how they turn out. Now if they don't work out, I'm going to order off eBay in a couple of weeks some press fit ones that you use a nail puller or whatever you want to call it, to squeeze the ends in. They're double shouldered, so I shall order a load of those instead, and that'll be a permanent fix then. So yeah, pretty much every single one of them has gone wrong. The big ones are not an issue, it's the little ones that are the issue. The big ones are just as rubbish, but it's the little ones I need to replace. So that one jumped, that one jumped. Yeah, they're holding. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say they're not. It's just that when you want to get that extra little bit of squeeze out of them, boom, they break. They're pants, they really are. Okay, I do need some more P-clips. I did make that one too short, that's the return, and that needs to go over there. But we've got a bit of copper, so we're going to replace that hose and join them two together. This one has got to be cut again anyway because there's a fuel filter to go in there somewhere. I'm not sure which at the moment. So that's all connected up with cable ties. I can't do much about that at the moment. I've got to get some more P-clips. And what I plan to do, because obviously if this was an IVA test, that would fail outright. But there'll be one clip go over the top, one gear go in underneath, and a nut and bolt to go through the middle, joining the two together, which will hold that top one in place quite nicely. But all things considered, I think that's come out quite good. The copper lines could be better, but that's just the circumstances of what I've got. I could do with another P-clip there actually, just to reinforce that one. So we're all done there. I've replaced all of those ghastly Jubilee clips with some stronger ones, so I'm now happy with that. They're really done up tight. Those other ones I'm throwing in the bin. They're shit, excuse my language, but they are garbage. They're not worth the money, nor are they worth the effort to even walk in the shop and buy them. They're that bad. Garbage. They're going in a bin, so they're all being replaced. That one, that one, that one. Didn't do that one just because I can't be asked to go down there and do it. But I know that one's strong enough anyway. So yeah, now what we've got to do is take that out, I've got some old inner tube that I found. Pretty perished stuff though, has to be said. I'm sure there was another one around here somewhere. I'm going to cut a circle of that out, scrub it down with some degreasant, get that powdery substance off. Then what I shall do is, with some sealant, gently run that around on both sides, put it down, put the screws in. But I'm not going to put pressure on that. I'm just going to let that dry off overnight, and then tomorrow I'll pull them screws out and get some longer screws that I can make into studs, and then we'll put them in and do that up all nice and tight, and that should be good enough. After this job's done, we've got to address these holes because we cannot put fuel in this until I've done that. I've also got to replace that tube. That's not going to get done till next week, early next week, because I need to make a cover plate to hide that all up. Now, cover plate, video, angle iron. Over the weekend I'm going to do another video. I'm going to use this angle to make a sheet metal brake, because all the ones on eBay are just too small, and I've got other jobs I want to do or have been thinking about doing, and that is these wheel arches. I'm still not happy with them, they're too flat, and I was thinking about coming up and then going down, try and give it some shape. I don't know at the moment if that's going to work or not, but that's where my thoughts are going with it. So I need a brake, metal brake for that anyway. And also next week we're stripping these carburetors off, and we're going to throw that manifold away. Well, no, we're not. We're going to tuck it away somewhere safe, but I've got to strip the manifold down as well, because when I took the water pump off yesterday, or the water cover, sorry, bloody bolt snapped. You just knew it was going to happen, didn't you? So next week I'm going to rebuild this one, but before I do that, I seriously need to have a massive clear up on that bench. All my tools are everywhere, and a job I did the other day took 5 times longer because of all of this. But as you can see, I've got this one, that's a 3.5 as well. I'm going to strip this one all down. I'm going to clean it all up with a very fine wire brush on a Dremel or something to get it tidy. And I may even lacquer it if I can get it clean enough, just so it's protected. Don't know how long that'll last though. I'm going to make a plate for that. We don't want that, so that's going. I'm going to make a steel plate to go over that. I'm going to take these all off, replace them, replace all this stuff. Everything has got to be replaced where it can be. I think that bottom pipe is bolted. No, that is not. So, which also means going back to the conversation the other day. You remember we spoke about a fan switch? Well, I have a fan switch housing that I bought for my turbo on my other vehicle, because I was going to separately oil feed the oil into that turbo, and I was going to have a heat exchanger with and I was going to have a little tiny radiator for that, and that's what this was all about. But when I was pulling this apart last night, it suddenly dawned on me, what the hell am I crying about? Look at the hole sizes. They're absolutely identical. I can't figure it out because, well, I say I can't figure it out. I have got a conclusion to this. You've got that monster hole there. You would have thought that you want to get that water out as fast as possible. Do you know what I mean? But then when you think about it, because these engines are so raddy delicate on the sleeves, that I suppose you want that water to come out a little slower rate, because when the cold goes in, you want that to mix with the hot, and you don't want a rapid, I'm going to call it decompression of steel, because I don't know what the proper term is that I'm trying to find, but you get what I'm trying to say. You get movement of steel and alley, hot and cold. It's all different. So I suppose, being that the pipe at the bottom is bigger anyway, it throws the water out as fast as it can, but it can only go in as fast as it can by the diameter of the pipes coming out. So it slowly releases it, well, not slowly, but slower than what it does at the base. And then it cools it down a little bit slower, instead of super cool. And then watch, and I'm saying that based on something that happened to me a few years back. A friend of mine sold me a Range Rover, a 3.9, and that was gassed. When I say gassed, I mean LPG, America, not petrol. And that they run hot. The buggers for it. I went through a Ford, and the moment I went through it, I instantly regretted it because it snapped the engine. Literally, where the aluminium piece is, I super cooled the exterior of the engine down, and I heard it. It just went kook, and all of a sudden there was a permanent knocking noise. And we thought I'd screwed the manifold up, but once I got rid of the vehicle, and the information came back to me, it wasn't the manifold, it was something else. And when I sit there and think about it, that was the bloody sleeve. It snapped because I super cooled it down. So you either need to run these at 70. This is my own personal opinion, I'm no expert, all right? I must stress this. I am more comfortable at running this at 70, where the fans kick in and the thermostat open, than I am at 95. And that's the truth about it. I really don't like these engines that much. I've got it because that's all there is available, but if I could afford some kind of American V8 or V6 to go in this, trust me, I would have done it ages ago. Absolutely. But I'm going to go with this engine for the time being at least. But after I got this thing legal, I am going to start looking for something else, either another V8, something more American, more grunty, or I'm going to start looking for a diesel to go in it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that idea. There is one other thing. I ain't packing up yet. I've got some more stuff to do, but look, my lorry out the front, it is for sale. I don't want it. If it's not gone by the time I get ready to properly put it up for sale, I'm giving you guys first refusal on it. I ain't asking a lot either. You come down, you tell me what you think that's worth, you make an offer, I'll either laugh at you or I'll take it, one or the other. But it needs to go because I've got another project coming in after Christmas. We're saving up like crazy for a pickup truck, and I want to make a demountable, and it would actually work out cheaper for me to strip that thing out. So I've got everything I need for the interior, and just scrap what's left or sell what's left. I actually don't want the aggravation though, if I'm honest. So I won't be finishing it. I'm sorry guys if you're here for that. I won't be finishing it at all. Not 1 ounce of that's going to get done. But there is another motorhome project coming. So if you're into the motorhomes, you've seen what I started. That became too big for me. And when COVID hit, fuel prices rocketed. And there's no way I can afford to run that. Not a hope in hell. I struggled, what was it, 8-9 years ago with a Dodge 50 that I had. Not an American Dodge, it was a British Dodge. Roots Group Dodge. I struggled with that. So what was I thinking? Because I got rid of that pretty sharpish and got a Transit. And even that was a little bit of a strain, but it was a less of a strain. So this time I think me and the wife sat back and talked about it. We don't have our dogs anymore, they're gone. Poor buggers died, so we don't need all that space. So we're going to get a pickup truck. We're going to make a demountable at some point for that, but that won't happen until mid next year, I think. But I have everything I need inside that lorry, but I'd rather it just went as is, because one, I don't want the aggravation of pulling it apart. Two, somebody else can finish it. That's 3/4 of the way there. So, you know, if you want it, leave a comment. If you can find me an email, send me an email and leave a comment telling me you've emailed, because I won't know otherwise. And we'll talk. I'm not looking for profit, I'm looking for space. It's gotta go. Okay, that's it for the day. I've done the last job that I'm prepared to do. I actually can't do anything else now. And that has now got a rubber gasket. I'm now wishing I had somebody hold the camera while I was chopping that all out, but I didn't. Sorry. Little message to myself, because I keep forgetting to do that. Yeah, we'll ignore that bit. Tighten up, head. Oops. Anyway, what we've got left? Well, weekend, we did speak about that. I might tomorrow get that piece of rubber done down there, and then that job's out of the way. Right, cut my pipe. That's what it looked like. Cut it off of there. A little bit of scrubbing. Ain't too bad, is it? That now fits where it's got to fit. I've just stripped out all of this. Just got to clean up down here a little bit, maybe get over it, I don't know. Stick some sealant down so we don't get any moisture blow through, and we can put that on, and then we're ready to start building a guard that's got to go underneath. Yes, this pipe is massively huge compared to what was in there, but that's all I could find down the yard of this material. That's what I took off, and to be honest, that was perfect. I specifically picked that one up for this job. I do have other hoses. I think I need them elsewhere, so that's the one that's going on. We're just going to have to double up the Jubilee clips if we have to, a little bit bigger as well. Okay, there you go. That is now replaced, nice and tight. Feel a little bit more confident about that now. Cleaned up, stuck down. I just got to drill a hole here. There's a pipe to be screwed onto that to go through. Haven't as yet figured that out. We're getting flooded out with water there, you see. I just got to put another layer hammerite round. Got to hoover that one up at some point as well. All the hoses are now in place. Did a cable tie there because I wasn't happy. Just got to seal that down, but I'm still waiting for that to dry off. It is not too bad, but I think that would be better off left a day or two. Anyway, I need some more screws and I haven't got any, so I can't do anything with it, even if I want to. I've remounted that. That's now in and on. All in all, I think that's a good week's worth of work. So we are officially finished. The fuel system, apart from that pipe here, which I have no idea what to do with at the moment, is pretty much done. I need a vent tube. That would make a good vent tube, but I need to put a pipe on it that's high up, and the problem with that is I don't want fumes inside the cab. I'm wondering whether to drill a hole here or something like that, you know. I know my my filler has a vent in it, and even if it didn't, I'd just drill a hole so it did. Some filler caps come with a diaphragm, so when pressure builds, the diaphragm opens and lets air in, and like BMW cars, some of the earlier like E36s got a little device in the engine bay which is coupled up, and if that device goes, the fuel tank can potentially squash up. I've witnessed it. Yeah, anyway, what's next? Well, for this week, nothing, because I'm now going to go upstairs and get this video made up. Next week we will tackle carburetors. So we're going to rip them all out, clean them all up, and put it all back, and then we'll plumb the fuel system up to that. Before I put fuel in, I'm going to weld up those holes at the back. I just don't want to risk welding anything with fuel in there, so I want to get that done first. Now I'm either going to put a patch over, which is what I should really do, cut it all out and do it properly. That's what I should do, or we'll just put a patch over it and weld up the holes and grind it back and just pretend nothing happened and see where it gets me. And we've got another one down there to do, possibly one this side as well, but I'm not sure. A bit of a headache really, but no big deal. Once we've got those done, we can then fuel up, and then during that week we get enough time to start thinking about wiring up the ignition system with the switch system. Get that done, and we can fire this thing up for the first time and move it up the top, and then we can get on with the windscreens and filling up all the bodywork and getting the seats put in properly, and think about getting the roll cage started. Lots to do. Lots to do. So that being said, I'd like to say thanks for your likes on the previous video. I actually thought the compressor one was going to be just another one of those videos that I put out that don't really have a lot of popularity about them, but that's gone a little bit mental. But the one before, maybe I put the video up too quick, because the video before, which was the aftermath of the week before with all the fuel system, never really got a look in. So there's 3 videos now that accompany the fuel system if you want to check it all out. Next week is a completely different thing. Now weekend I'm going to have a go at making a bending unit, but I'm going to tell you now, I might actually hold that one back a little bit. Sorry. I want this video a bit up on numbers before I put that one out. I'd like to see this video gain at least 100 views minimum within a couple of days, you know, like 4 days, please. And at least 15 likes would be nice. I'd love that. And loads of comments. I mean, keep your comments coming. I will answer them. If I see them, I will answer them, I promise you. Unless they're rude, and then I won't answer them because I won't know what to say, to be honest. So that's kind of it really. Thanks. See you next week.